It is latex time. So this is the type of latex that I use for making my Lekku. So here we can see inside that it is kind of a gluey, kind of sticky, liquidy stuff. So that's what the latex looks like. Yeah, so when we apply it, it is a liquid and it dries into something that resembles your kind of latex rubber gloves. So it's going to dry clear. So bear that in mind, that latex is clear, or it's kind of opaque, kind of a little bit of a yellowy colour to it. What I do then to get the correct colour is I use acrylic paint. For Ahsoka, I'm going to start with white layers predominantly, and then in the last couple layers I'm going to add the blue on top, just because it is a lot easier to add darker colours on top of lighter colours than the other way around. So I'm going to start with white. Here's some I have prepared earlier, so I've kind of mixed the latex in with the white paint. You can't really tell with white, but when you are using colours, like for example when I was doing Hera and Numa, when you're adding like blues and yellows and greens and stuff, when you add it with the liquid latex, it is going to look lighter. So if you're going for a deep blue and you add it with the latex, it will look in the bottle a kind of light baby blue. And it's the same with the greens. Like for Hera, it looked like more of a mint green when I mixed it together. Because yet again, latex dries clear, so when this dries, this is going to dry darker than what it appears in the bottle. So if you're in doubt as to colours, do a test square. You can just do this on any hard surface. You can just put the latex mixture onto it, let it dry and see what it looks like. And alternatively, go lighter. If in doubt, always go lighter than what you expect. You can always make it darker with darker layers. It is quite difficult to make something lighter when it is already dark. So that would be my best advice. Some other tips before we get going is latex absolutely stinks. I don't know why, I don't know what it has in it, but it stinks, so I find it helpful to wear a mask when I am latexing, and I also do it in a well ventilated area, so I've got the windows open to the garage, and if it gets really bad I can always open the garage door as well. So those are my tips, and yeah, we shall get going. Alright, latexing is beginning. So here is my setup. I have my mold set up so that it is accessible easily, so I can get around it and move it and that kind of thing. The first step I'm going to do is apply talcum powder. So it's just baby powder. And the reason why I did this is that I don't want the latex to stick too firmly onto the mold, so I just do a light layer. I've got a wide brush, and I actually use this talcum powder in between the layers as well, and this just makes them a bit thicker, which means you just apply less latex, so it just adds a bit of sturdiness to them. You will need quite a bit of talcum powder when we pull this off, because the latex will try and stick to itself. So this is just really good to stop latex from sticking. So good to put on anything that you don't want the latex on. So do that. Doesn't have to be a big layer, just a light dusting, especially in our difficult areas underneath. Cool. And I just keep the bowl of it nearby. The next step I'm going to do is to mix up my liquid latex. Like I said, I'm probably going to end up doing about 10 to 15 layers of liquid latex. So I have a big tub what is it, 1 litre of latex. I won't use all of this, but oh, yet again, instantly the smell. Mask. And I am doing this in the garage with the window open, so like I said, ventilation. And a mask for the smell, because it stinks. I'm not sure why it stinks. It must just have something in it. So you don't sniff it. It will completely ruin your lungs. So I'm using one of my empty foam clay bottles, which is really good because it comes with a lid. So I can make up layers of latex of the right colour and consistency, and not have to worry about it drying out because I've got a lid for it. So I'm just gonna directly add the colour in. White acrylic paint. I don't have exact measurements for how much paint to add in. I kind of just go off what looks right, but I guess that's about a teaspoon of acrylic paint to, I don't know, about that much liquid latex. I'm going to need a spatula or something to mix it all in. And I just mix it around until it's a really nice consistency. My sister, when she's latexing, she always wears gloves because she doesn't like getting the latex itself on her hands. I'm actually going to take my ring off. Just because it can get a little bit messy. Best thing about latex is once it dries, you can peel it off. So the containers that it's in, if it gets on your hands, let it dry and then just peel it off. So, not a biggie. We can see it's a nice white colour now. It's a little bit thicker than what I would like. I try not to add water to it. I've done that in the past. The problem with adding water to it is it just starts decomposing quicker, so I don't want to do that. I'm just going to put up with the thickness. It'll actually probably help and mean that I have to put on less layers. I then have these little makeup wedges, and that's what I use to apply the latex. So I just dip the corner of it in, and like I said earlier, I'm going to basically just do one big long layer vertically, and then once that dries, talcum powder, and then I'm going to do horizontally, and I'm going to repeat that about 3 or 4 times. So here we go, the first layer of latex. Another important thing about putting latex on is to not go over what you've already put on. It starts drying instantly, and if you start to, so I've done that, if I was to then go over that again with wet latex, it's going to lift it up. So once it's on, it's on. Don't worry if it's not perfect. You can kind of smooth down the edges where it's wet, but once it's kind of semi-dry, you really just have to leave it. And you can fix it up with later layers. And when we do our stippling layers, that really does smooth out the final finish. So don't worry if it's a little uneven at the start. I'm just trying my best not to touch the stuff that I've already done. That's why these little makeup wedges are really handy, because you can be quite particular with it. Get it in exactly the right spot. But yeah, I'm going to keep going with this. and I'll give you an update later on. So the first layer of latex has been done. As you can see, the coverage is not great at all. We have lots of bits that are thinner, lots of bits that aren't even covered. One of the things I love about making latex Lekku the way I do is that there's not much that you can mess up. We're going to do so many layers that this coverage is going to be fixed. It's kind of like painting, I guess. You do your first layer and it's never going to be perfect. And then you do your second layer and maybe there's still a few bits that need touch-ups, and you can just keep going and adding latex where it needs to go until it's at the thickness that we want. Yeah. I am a little bit, I'm not sure if concerned is the right word, but I just really hope I've got enough latex on the side of the face. I know Ahsoka has, in season 7, she's got this kind of Mandalorian strip that goes in the front, so I'm not too worried about this area. But I'm just hoping it's going to stick to my head properly. Quite lucky with the Twi'leks that they all have a headpiece, so you don't have to worry about that section. So I might have to end up gluing it to my head somehow, but that's a problem for later. All I can do is just go down as far as possible and make it as thick as possible, adding lots of latex around the base. I might add some more in this area. But yeah, this is when the patience has to kick in. So right now all I want to do is keep going and keep adding layers and just get it done. But it's really important that we allow the latex to dry. This can take 1 to 2 hours, sometimes longer depending on the climate. It's quite warm and mild here in New Zealand, so it's not too bad at the moment. But yeah, if it was colder it'll take it longer to set. But yes, once that is dry, we will continue with the talcum powder and the metal bowl down there. We'll put that on top, and then we will continue with our latex, which I have sealed in this little container. I've made a wee bit more up. So yeah, it's just a process of waiting now, and hopefully the more layers go on, the better she will look. Alright, so here we are with the Lekku. At this stage I have done 3 layers of the latex and getting a pretty good coverage now, so it's a pretty solid white colour. I'm probably going to do one more layer horizontal, and the reason why I'm doing a layer of vertical and a layer of horizontal is for the structural component. So at the moment I'm purely trying to build up the latex so that it is thick enough, but also so that it stretches. So I want it to stretch both ways. So I want it to stretch this way and I also want it to stretch that way. So that is why I'm doing it in this kind of way. This latex is a lot thicker than I expected it to be. So maybe it's just slightly different. Maybe it's just older than the latex I'm used to using. So I probably won't be doing 10 layers. It'll probably be more like 6 or 8, just because it's a thicker latex. So that's awesome. Less work for me. Yes, once I do my final layer of like the strengthening part, then I'm going to start working on the finish. So for finishing, I'm going to do a technique called stippling. For those of you who don't know what stippling is, I didn't, but it's just literally just dabbing it. So instead of applying the latex like this, I will be applying the latex by just dabbing it, and that gives it a nice kind of matte looking finish, instead of these kind of streaky lines that you see. So that really helps, and you can also fill in any gaps or imperfections that have been left behind. Once I've done that for a couple layers and I'm happy with the white, then I'm going to start the task of putting the blue stripes on. So I've got a couple of ideas of how I'm going to do it. I've got some like coloured felt tip pens, and I think I'm just going to draw the outlines on so that I've got something there to work on. And then I'm not sure if a sponge will be good enough to do those stripes, so I'm probably going to have to use a paintbrush or something like that. So we shall see, but for now Lekku is doing very well, and I will keep going with the next couple layers. Cheers. So I have made a drawing of exactly how I want the stripes to look. I've got a very light blue pen because I don't want it to show, so my latex will be darker than this colour. And I'm just going to draw on my beautiful Lekku. So yeah, I hope this step goes well. And yeah. Alright, the lines are on. I think it did an alright job. It was actually a lot more difficult than I thought it was going to be, trying to get it even. But yes, I am now going to paint it with acrylic paint. I'm just going to put it straight on, and then I'm probably going to do some latex layers over top. But I kind of just want to put the colour on to see how it looks, and yeah, then I will have a really good outline that I can work to. So the Lekku are looking amazing. Very excited at the moment because it's all coming together, and I know they're just going to look amazing once they're done. So just up to some final touches now. I'm pretty happy with the paint job. I've just put some more talcum powder on top of the paint, just as a kind of layer or barrier, and I bought some thinner latex, so this latex is very thin compared to the latex I've been working with, and I'm basically just going to stipple it on top of the paint layer as a kind of barrier, so it will dry completely clear. So when I put it on, it will look like it's white, but it will dry clear, and yeah, hopefully it all goes well. So there we have it. The Lekku are finished, or the latexing is finished. I put some final layers on top after putting the stripes on with acrylic paint. And I also added a little bit of a creamy colour to the white, so that it's not a brilliant white. I kind of wanted it an off-white, so it's slightly creamier than just a plain white. So I'll do a full walk around, I guess, show you the full thing. Very happy with how it's turned out. Looking very nice. So join me in the next videos for the final step, which I think is the scariest step, is after making something so beautiful that looks so good, we are going to peel it off the mold. So yeah, I've already started peeling a little bit here, but we're literally going to peel this kind of latex layer off and stuff it with toy filler, so that it is more realistic. Instead of being a hard structure that can't move, it will actually be able to move realistically. So join me for that and have a good day.